Stop hits ninth. This is Schumacher, and he fouls it back to the screen. We are underway with Chris Volstad facing the Cards.
And Rich, always a local flavor with Chris Volstad on the mound out of Palm Beach Gardens High School.
And some familiarity. Obviously, the Marlins and Cardinals not in the same division, but know each other so well because they share spring training facilities. They play so much in the spring.
That's a good point. I think it came into play last night. Jeremy Hermida mentioning having seen Jason Mott in spring training. Yeah, these clubs play each other 8 or 9 times every year in the spring.
Schumacher is 29. He's out of the University of California at Santa Barbara, a Golden Gaucho. And he pulls that fastball to Cantu at first. One down.
I think it's always a nice night to play defense behind Chris Volstad. Our defense brought to you by Heineken. There it is. Coughlin, Cody Ross, and Hermida be alive in the infield for a lot of ground balls. Defense sets up with Hanley and Huggle up the middle, and Ronnie Paulino getting the start behind the plate.
Here is Chris Duncan. He goes after the first pitch, and Duncan fouls it off. Chris has got a brother, Shelley. Of course, has been up with the Yankees at times. And their father, Dave, is the pitching coach for the Cardinals. Good breaking ball. Dave Duncan would be proud of that curveball from Volstad. Big over-the-top breaker. Let's see what he gets 0-2.
A lot of people forget, and most who follow the game, they know Dave Duncan as one of the best pitching coaches in the game. But he had a pretty good career as a catcher. He had some power, hit 109 career home runs. Oakland, Cleveland, Baltimore.
And I made this argument last year. I know we discussed it. Duncan rips it into right center field. Hermida and Ross give chase. It's to the wall. And Chris Duncan has himself a double. Got another breaking ball, and he was on this one.
Well, he identified that first one. There's the spike. You can see that knuckle. Not a bad one, but out over the plate. And just a good swing that Dad would be proud of there.
Yeah, I think his father deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think as a pitching coach, 30 years, longest, all of the guys, all of the Cy Youngs, I think there should be a spot for him in the Hall of Fame. Here is Pujols. And, of course, he was involved in that play with Baker last night. We talked about Pujols and where he sets up in the box. Deep in the box, his foot right on that line, and he'll kind of creep back as the game goes along. And in talking to some of the folks down below at batting practice, in fact, I asked Carlos Tosca, I said, would it pay to point out to an umpire that a guy like Pujols is out of the batter's box? He said, probably not, because there are many Marlin hitters that don't stand in the box as well.
See, right now, because that line is still visible, he is on the line, a little bit behind it. But as the game goes on, that might be a little deeper.
So you open up a real can of worms if you come out and say, can you have Mr. Pujols stay in the box? Because then the umpire is going to say, Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Cantu, you have to be in the box as well. Which doesn't make it easy for catchers. Pujols lines it into the seats. It was a perfect storm because Pujols was deep. He's got the big backswing, and the pitch was up and in, bringing Baker right into it.
Right there, you can see the eyes of John Baker. He knew he was about to get hit with that bat.
2-2 to Pujols with Duncan at second. Baker actually asked to stay in the game, but the Marlin training staff couldn't stop the bleeding, and he needed 6 stitches. And he also refused any medication, apparently.
Gives you the toughness of John Baker.
Full count. And Volstad misses outside. Pujols, who walks an awful lot, he gets pitched around, intentionally walked as well, and he's at first.
We've been talking about John Baker, and there he is. Those stitches covered, a little swelling in that left eye.
And remember, at the start of this homestand, Jason Kendall had that ugly looking black eye, and he got it in the exact same fashion. A backswing that clipped him on the mask. Here's Rasmus. He gets into one and hits it deep to right field. Hermida goes back, looks up, and it's gone. Colby Rasmus with a 3-run shot. And the Cardinals go deep off of Chris Volstad.
Boy, that's the 13th home run that Chris has allowed this year. He leads the staff, unfortunately, in that department. And that's an area that the Cardinals are really looking for, somebody to hit behind Albert Pujols and back him up. So the walk to Pujols and the hot-hitting rookie, fastball middle of the plate, didn't have a whole lot of sink to it. And Colby Rasmus with his 7th home run.
Ankiel bounces one out towards Uggla. Dan makes the play. 2 outs. And the long ball, it's an illustration sometimes of how oftentimes people look at numbers in the minor leagues and say, you know, if the player did this in the minor leagues, that's what he's going to be in the major leagues. And that holds true a lot of times. For Volstad, he did not give up a lot of home runs coming up in the minor leagues at all. And even the first part of his major league career, the 3 months that he spent last year, I believe he only gave up 2 in the big leagues since coming up in July. But as Tommy pointed out, this year, lots of homers.
Well, with Chris, he has to have pinpoint location. And he has to use that two-seamer and get the ball to sink. And we've seen most of the home runs have been middle of the plate and pitches that are around belt high. So mistake pitches have been hit hard.
Yadier Molina. Is it just me, or has there been a Molina behind the plate for every game of this homestand?
Well, not the Milwaukee series, but this is a 6th straight game with a Molina back there.
Hermida has the angle, makes the catch. Inning over, but the Cardinals go deep.
Disponible en español vía SAP y es presentado por KFC.
Marlins lineup looks this way tonight. Chris Coughlin, Emilio Bonifacio, Henley Ramirez, Jorge Cantu, Hermida, Ugla, Ross. Paulino's in there in the 8th spot, and Volstad hits 9th. Adam Wainwright unfolds. A fastball for a strike, so says Sam Holbrook, who's calling balls and strikes. Look at Wainwright, he's 27.
He needs to have that good movement on that two-seamer. He'll use that. He'll use a curveball. And at times can slow the pace down a little bit when he gets in a little trouble. There's that curveball.
Coughlin was on it, though. Schumacher, no chance. Good speed, ball gets by, but Pujols is in chase.
That's 5 in a row. 5 in a row for Chris Coughlin. 6 for his last 16. He stayed on that curveball and took it right back up the middle. Really no chance for Schumacher. And Coughlin gets it started with an infield hit and gets to chat with the game's best hitter. How about that?
That's a thrill. Here is Bonifacio. Bonifacio last night had the type of game that the Marlins envisioned when they made the trade. Scott Olson and Josh Willingham to the Nationals for Bonifacio. He was 2 for 3, drove in 3, walked, was disruptive with his speed.
Be a nice little answer if the Marlins can just come back, maybe get a run or two in this first inning after the Cardinals put up the 3 spot. You know, that home run, only the 5th home run the Marlins have allowed on this homestand.
Wainwright, a first-round draft pick. In fact, both these starters are first-round draft picks. Wainwright was a first-round pick of the Atlanta Braves in 2000. And the Braves traded him to St. Louis in the J.D. Drew trade. I told you Molina has picked off more runners than anybody in baseball since 2005.
And he loves to do that and try it with a left-handed batter. Because as a runner, sometimes you get blocked out and you can't see him. And he just sneaks up. 4 pickoffs this year, 30 in his career.
Bonifacio fouls that pitch off. This was last night. This actually was a double with his speed.
Soft serve in the left field, produced 2, and then a high chopper. Carpenter couldn't find it, and that got the 3rd run in. Tied the game.
Squirts this one in the hole. It's short on a hop just in time. Bonifacio is out. Coughlin's in scoring position. Nice play by Ryan.
That is a terrific play. I thought that would be an infield base hit. Check out the defense. Again, brought to you by Heineken with Duncan, Rasmus, and Ankiel in that outfield. All left-handed bats. Tyler Green and Pujols at the corners. Brendan Ryan with that nice play. He's at short. And Yadier Molina behind the plate. Molina Gold Glover last year.
Here is Hanley. 0 for 3 last night. Sitting on 8 home runs. Smacks that one into right field. Down the line it goes. That's going to score the run. Let's see if Hanley can stretch it. Nice job by Ankiel, who has center field skills out in right to cut it off. Marlins are on the board. An RBI single by Hanley Ramirez.
File that one away, Hanley, because first of all, a beautiful swing to take that pitch away, but to not try to do too much. And sometimes I know in talking with Tony Perez, we'll talk about Hanley in that RBI situation. Instead of just thinking line drive single, maybe sometimes thinking doing too much.
Cantu now. Then Hermida. Wainwright had a good year last year, just in his numbers. Cantu over 4 last night. Wainwright was 11-3 with a 3.20 ERA. He made 20 starts. His season cut short with a sprained finger. Missed a couple months. Rasmus out there. 2 down. Mikasuki brings you our weather. Come play our way. 86 degrees. No rain. We have not been able to say that the entire homestand.
One of the few late afternoons, I believe, both clubs were able to take batting practice on the field during this homestand.
All right, here is Hermida, 2 for 4 last night. Of course, the big one was the walk-off shot, his first walk-off home run in the big leagues. His average up to 261.
Yeah, we talked about the Marlins' last walk-off home run was last June 30th against the Nationals. Josh Willingham, who always seemed to have big hits against the Nationals.
Hermida fouls it back. Last year, the Marlins had 5 players hit walk-off home runs. Remember Robert Andino? That was against the Mets, I believe, in the second game of the year. Mike Jacobs, Cody Ross, Dan Uggla, and the Hammer. One and 2. With the win last night, the Marlins have drawn within 2 games of 500 at 29 and 31. And with the Phillies losing last night, 3 teams gained a game: the Mets, the Braves, and the Marlins. Mets are 2 back, Braves are 4.5 back, Fish are 6 back. You could hear, at least I hope you can, if you've got the Dolby Digital going at home, Sam Holbrook, the home plate umpire, saying that was outside.
Yeah, the Mets beat the Phillies. Johan Santana did not pitch well, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs, allowed 4 home runs, but got the win.
Hermida to left, a slicing liner that Duncan runs down. The Fish answer with a run, but the Cardinals are up 2. yourself a good name. Cardinals with a 3-run first. Marlins got one back, and here's Tyler Green, who taps one out towards short. Hanley takes care of it. Volstad a pitch and an out. And it'll bring up the pitcher, Adam Wainwright, and then Brendan Ryan, the shortstop.
Well, now it's time for Chris Volstad to get back in a groove, keep that two-seamer down, and hold the Cardinals to those 3 runs that they got in the first inning.
Wainwright is one of the better hitting pitchers that the Cardinals have. In fact, Tony La Russa has used him as a pinch hitter 4 times this year. You saw what his career numbers are against the Marlins, 4 for 6. There's La Russa. La Russa, the pride of Jefferson High School in Tampa. Oh, 1 pitch.
Nice.
That pitch outside. The other thing about La Russa that I think some people forget, he has a 4-year degree from South Florida, University of South Florida in Tampa, and got his law degree from Florida State and did pass the bar. But obviously, instead of practicing, he's been busy managing.
He's been busy putting together a pretty good resume, 2,492 wins.
Drive to right, pretty well hit. Hermida goes back and makes the catch at the track. You can become a season ticket holder in 2009. Enjoy the best rewards and benefits in the big leagues. Great savings by choosing from a variety of plans starting at just $85. Don't miss Super Saturdays, the Yankee Series, closing day, and more. Become a Marlins season ticket holder. She is 1-877-MARLINS.
The pesky Brendan Ryan getting an opportunity to be out there every day at shortstop with Khalil Green on the disabled list. I'll tell you another thing that's going to put a little damper into the Cardinals in that rotation. Kyle Loesch is on the disabled list and looks like he's going to miss some time.
Ryan had that look on his face like, are you kidding? That was a low strike. And
see, if you've just gotten one, you're not going to get 2 in a row.
Yeah, it's only fair.
And if you think about it, that one might have been better than the one before.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like when same thing with a pitcher. If an umpire will miss a call that should have been a strike, well then the next one that's close usually is a strike. Umpires are people too, Tommy.
And that's fair.
2-2. Foul back.
I think you and I talked about it last night. Good job by Adrian Johnson, who's at third base tonight, but he was behind the dish last night with a couple of good pitchers out there, Josh Johnson and Chris Carpenter.
Two and two. I think so much of what goes into what you would call a good night or a bad night by an umpire depends on who's pitching. That one's by Bonifacio, and Ryan has a base hit.
Well, he battled. He had one pitch taken away. He had one pitch given, and then he hit that curveball for base hit.
Number 55, second baseman Skip Schumacher.
Here's Schumacher. Been impressed just watching Schumacher last night, and the little bit that we've seen him at second, here's a guy that never played second before spring training. He was an outfielder.
And I think, boy, he was leaning. I think there were some moments in spring training for the Cardinals that they were wondering about making that move. Good quickness by Ryan to get back. 5 stolen bases for Brendan Ryan.
Well, Schumacher has made that transition. He's been helped in the offseason with his workouts by a former Cardinal that knows a thing or two about hitting, Mark McGwire. Runner goes, big jump, Paulino's throw, not in time. So there's number 6.
A couple of good moves to first, but it's always a little longer for Chris Volstad to unfold to the plate. And because of that, Ryan got the big jump and the easy stolen base.
One and one. You would hope at some point in time that there will be a place for Mark McGwire, that he would be able to come back to the game. I know the Cardinals have extended invitations for him to, in spring training, be an instructor, be around the ball club.
Yeah, La Russa has. Of course, Tony had him in Oakland too.
Chris Duncan on deck. Schumacher at the plate. 3-1 the count. That's a base hit, and that's trouble. Into the corner it goes. It's going to score Ryan. Schumacher, a double.
Number 16.
That's some guys, a couple of pesky hitters that have had good at-bats and good swings. Ryan and now Schumacher. Good solid swing, slicing that ball down the left field line. Brendan Ryan scoring easily.
Now Duncan. All this happening with 2 outs.
Yeah, when it looked like Chris might come back and settle in and have a good inning, all of a sudden the Cardinals have continued to battle.
Volstad gets the out. Ugla tosses to first, but the Cards add on and lead it 4-1.
First pitch, and was voted the world's most sexiest model by several magazines, including Maxim. Are you going to be on the cover again?
Yes.
How many? You've done so many covers.
I've done over 100 covers worldwide for Maxim, GQ, Stuff, Playboy, and yeah, there's a lot of magazines naming the sexiest woman in the world. But you know what? There's so many amazing women, so it's a privilege and a compliment.
That's some kind of title, though. The whole.
I know,
Is that,
right?
That's impossible to live up to. Right?
It is very impossible. I mean, nobody's perfect.
Well, what about you got a chance to actually the guy up, Dan Uggla, I know, was happy to be the catcher for your first pitch. Have you done this before?
I have never done this before, so I was really nervous. He actually practiced with me in the batting cages, which was great, and we were doing wonderful. And then I get up there. I didn't do as good as I wanted to, but hey, I'm no pro, and I think I did okay for what it was. And it's such a pleasure being here. I've never done this, so it's a great experience. Definitely to add into my my biography.
Very nice of Dan getting ready for the ball game. I think to spend a few moments to practice.
Yeah, and he was a sweetheart. After I threw the ball, he's like, good job, and he made me feel comfortable. So
you remember the show The Superstars? It used to be on ABC, maybe in the 70s?
79.
Right, 79. Howard Cosell. You're going to be on the next episode. They're coming out with a new one?
Yeah, the new is coming out June 23rd, prime time on ABC, and my teammate is Terrell Owens. So people have to tune in. It's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. And for me, I'm not a big sports person and an athlete, so for me to do all these sports activities was definitely a challenge. It was amazing. It was a great experience, and I would do it all over again.
What do we got? Obstacle course? I remember that was always big. Did you do one of those?
We had obstacle course, we had kayaking, running, swimming. I mean, it was just a bunch of different stuff, but there's always twists. That's what makes it difficult. So for people, have to tune in to see the twist. And yeah, they definitely treated every celebrity and athlete the same. So it didn't matter if you're not an athlete, they still treated you exactly how they treat them.
Who else is on the show? Anybody else?
Ellie Landry, Brody Miller, David Charvet. Gosh, who else? Paige from Extreme Home Makeover, Max from Dance with the Stars. So it was a good cast.
We'll look for you on the show. You can't tell us how you did, though.
I can't, but you got to check it. We definitely did amazing.
All right, nice to see you, Joanna. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Joanna Krupa with us, guys. Back upstairs to you, unfortunately.
Huh?
What?
Uggla clearly distracted during that at bat. Pops out, and Cody Ross and Ronnie Paulino coming up against Adam Wainwright. Wainwright getting the start for the Cardinals, who have a 4-1 lead. They've knocked Chris Volstad around in their first 2 innings. Ross had 2 hits last night. And a strike from Wainwright. Cody up to 33 RBIs and his average at 254. Drive in the gap. Big turn. Didn't stop. And he's in there. Rick Ankiel over to make that play. And Ross never hesitated.
Cody Ross, a left-handed throwing outfielder, knows that when you're in right field and you're moving into right center, a little harder to put the brakes on, turn, and make a throw. So our checkers double of the game is a hustle double by Cody Ross on a nice swing, driving this ball into right center. And he knows an ankle, but see, he has to sidestep, a couple of steps. Takes him a while before he can unload because he throws left-handed.
Here's Paulino. And Wainwright runs it inside. Paulino getting the start in place of John Baker. And will probably start tomorrow afternoon's game. You know, it's not really an afternoon game. It feels more like a morning game. It's a 12:10 start tomorrow.
I mean, spring training games don't even. When the Marlins play the Cardinals up at Roger Dean, they don't start at 12:10.
Marlins after the game will be leaving the country.
Passports in hand.
I got to make sure my papers are in order.
Get your papers signed.
Here's a 2-1 at the knees, and it's 2-2. That one just misses outside. So the count full now with Volstad on deck. Ross a 1-out double.
You know, you forget about Adam Wainwright. He's just not the high-profile name, and he was at one time a tremendous relief pitcher. But in the last 2 years as a starter, he has the 15th best ERA in the major leagues.
This Saturday on Fox Baseball Saturday, interleague play, intercity rivalry, Mets, Yankees. Need I say more? Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at 4 on Fox. So Paulino walks. And let's see if Volstad is going to try to bunt the runners up or how the Marlins will play this. Pujols is creeping in. And Volstad squares. The wheel play was on. Oh, that's a kind of a semi-wheel play.
It was a wheel play. Both infielders were going hard to other bags. The second baseman, Schumacher, was real close. And then as soon as his pitcher made the delivery, he raced over to cover first because Pujols was coming in.
Let's see what Green at third and Ryan at short do.
That was almost a double wheel play.
Oftentimes you run something like that, then you run a pickoff play after it.
See, now Schumacher's not close.
Wheel play on, and Volstad chops it towards short. Got it out there. Schumacher's turn, and the Cardinals get the double play. Boy, Volstad did exactly what he wanted to do. He put it in play on the ground, and it's still 4-1. Mustang Money tickets are on sale. Register your non-winning tickets now through June 11th for a second chance to win great prizes that include a 2010 Ford Mustang V6 convertible, an ultimate Florida baseball weekend getaway, or $100 gas cards. I was waiting for that. Visit FLALottery.com for details.
A little extra time because Chris Volstad took his time, and it was really unfortunate because when you're up there in that situation, the situation he was in, and everybody in the infield is moving, what you'd like to do is do what he did. You'd like to pull the bat back, try to chop one and find a hole. Unfortunately, it was right to the shortstop, and Cardinals turned a 6-4-3 double play. But Chris did the right thing. He tried to get that ball down to the ground in a hole.
So it's Pujols. A low strike, and it's 0-1. Pujols was walked in the first, which didn't seem so bad until Colby Rasmus hit one out of the park. for a 3-run homer, and Pujols goes opposite field, and that snaps an 0 for 15 skid.
Yeah, his longest hitless streak in his career is 0 for 17. You have to go back to 2001 to find that. So you know, with all the hard work that he puts in, that he's not going to have many.
This is Rasmus, one of the guys that will be getting consideration for Rookie of the Year. He leads all National League rookies with 7 home runs now and has driven in 23. He's playing center field for the Cardinals and hitting cleanup behind Pujols. Those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah, that's something
for a rookie. Pujols is running. Paulino's throw safe. Albert Pujols swipes his 8th base.
It's amazing. He leads the Cardinals in stolen bases, as well as just about every other offensive category. But he has tremendous instincts. Obviously, doesn't have blazing speed, but he knows that Chris Volstad's slow to the plate. He had 16 stolen bases back in 05.
And in watching that again in a couple different looks, Larry Vanover, the second base umpire, was right on it. He got the foot in before the tag. Talking to managers, scouts about Pujols, one of the common threads in the conversation is what a benefit it is to a team when your best player is the hardest worker on the team. On the ground to Hanley. And a guy that, just by what he does on the field and does in the clubhouse, commands respect. Pujols is the type of guy that if somebody on this Cardinal team isn't doing things right or isn't doing it the way it should be done, Pujols is the type of guy that will address it and it gets fixed.
Yeah, and he can do that because of what you said. He's the hardest worker, and he does it himself.
And so that really tilts the field towards him. I mean, there are teams in baseball that have superstar players. Out into left center. And Hanley makes the catch. Coughlin almost got tangled up with him. And so there's 2 outs. Super Saturday on the 20th. The postgame concert is salsa star Tito Nieves following a fireworks spectacular, all presented by Metro PCS. See the Marlins take on the Yankees at 7:10. And fans in Marlins gear will get a Marlins cowbell courtesy of Fox Sports Florida. 1-877 Marlins.
And you know what? We know there will be a lot of Yankees fans here, but just to have this ballpark with a lot of people in it will be an exciting, exciting weekend.
Here's Molina. And he takes inside. Yadier Molina is 0 for 1 and 0 for 5 in this series. Molina right now leading National League catchers in the All-Star voting. Molina shaking his head. He's not real happy with that call.
Tell you what, Yadier Molina had a big postseason in 06.
Yes, he did.
For the Cardinals. Hit over 400 against Detroit in the World Series. He had a great championship series against the Mets.
In fact, the battery here were the big heroes in that Game 7 win over the Mets.
See the grip on this. Looks like it's the two-seamer running inside. Every once in a while, you'll see that index finger, the knuckle, kind of come up with the finger dug into the ball for the curveball.
It was Molina who hit the 2-run homer late against the Mets. And it was Wainwright who came in to close it. Remember, after walking LaDuca to load the bases, that big curveball that struck out Beltran looking and sent the Cardinals to the World Series.
Well, Wainwright had an unbelievable postseason.
Ball's out to center. Ross there makes the catch. Volstad works his first scoreless inning of the night in a 4-1 Cardinal lead. Again with Craig Minervini. Any more supermodels to interview?
Oh, we got to talk about John Baker. I much prefer Miss. No, nothing against Baker, of course. Hey, we're all happy to see the injury to John Baker much less severe than it certainly could have been, as he only took, and I say only, 6 stitches. He got cut there, and he's got a black eye, as we mentioned. Now, today we saw him experimenting with the hockey-style mask that he's going to have to wear, because this will prevent, you see that right there? It'll prevent when he goes in there again. The mask cannot fall off. A bat couldn't hit his face. So he gives up a little something, though, wearing this kind of mask, and we talked to him about using that. We'll get to that in just a second. One thing Bake did tell us was that there's actually more cases of concussions with the hockey-style mask, but not the cuts.
The research has shown that the hockey mask has a higher incidence of concussion, and so it would have prevented the cut last night, but who knows on some of those straight-on foul tips. I know that a good example of that was Mike Matheny, whose career was cut short because of the concussion syndrome, and it was attributed to him getting hit repeatedly with his with foul balls wearing the hockey mask. Yeah.
Now, Bake guys did not really care for that hockey-style mask, but he's going to have to live with it at least until the cut gets better, and he'll get used to it, he thinks, and be better off. He also said, look, he didn't want to make a big deal at all of the guy being out of the batter's box in the case of Pujols last night, but he did say, I'm going to have to keep an eye on it a little closer, and especially with this injury that I'm dealing with, and have the umpires enforce it a little bit. But he really didn't want to make a big deal out of it. There's a lot of guys do it. I wonder if we see more incidences of this, guys, if they come out with a line that's maybe outside of that, and like to change the bases in the 5th inning, put the lines back on. If guys are going to get hurt like this, they might have to consider doing something like that.
Well, there's 2 things to consider, and I talked to a couple people about it, and a catcher sets up to a hitter not in relation to where he is in the box, but just in relation to where the catcher is to the batter. And what I mean by that, Carlos Tosca, I think, explained it best. A catcher, when he squats behind a hitter, needs to be able to reach out and almost touch the back knee of the hitter so that he's in a position to catch foul tips, to correctly catch ball. I mean, you can't go back much further than catchers are.
You can't get too far back.
Yeah, so if the hitters move up, catchers would move up.
Yeah, so you play yourself off the hitter, not off that back line.
Mike Matheny was one of the best defensive catchers of his era. And as Baker pointed out, he wore that hockey mask. And, you know, sadly, Tommy, you and I saw his last game. He was playing for the Giants in this ballpark in May of 2006, and he got hit by a foul tip and had to come out of the ball game. And it had happened before, and he was diagnosed with a concussion syndrome, and that was the last game he played, was in this ballpark.
Gold Glove catcher, Mike Matheny.
4-time Gold Glove catcher. There's a strike.
Yeah, look at these right here. Those are like shock absorbers on the side of that hockey-style mask.
And you wonder if, since 2006, if those masks have evolved, if they're a little safer, if there's been a little more research done and a little more adjustments to them. Chopper out towards second, and the out recorded with Coughlin out. Bonifacio is aboard. Tony La Russa always has had great catchers wherever he's managed. In Oakland, he had Terry Steinbach. He had Matheny here. He has Molina now.
Then he had Fisk in Chicago.
I think he had Fisk in Chicago. You're right.
Yeah, Mike Matheny in over 10,000 innings caught, a .994 fielding percentage. You know, this one doesn't have those shock absorbers. See, that's right up in there.
Hanley's up. Wainwright spins one up there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Hanley had an RBI single in the first. Cardinals got 3 in the first, 1 in the second. Marlins answered back with the 1 run in the first.
A lot of time left. They have to just keep pushing, keep trying to answer back.
We were talking about the 2006 postseason that Wainwright had. That was as an emergency closer. Was it Jason Isringhausen that faltered?
Izzy, yeah. So they put Wainwright, who was a young pitcher at that time, in that role. He was just 23, 24 years old. Didn't give up a run in postseason.
Yeah, 9 appearances. He was perfect. That ball kicks away from Molina. And Bonifacio is now at second base. And much like, I believe it was Derek Lowe for the Red Sox in 04, Wainwright was on the mound for each clinching out. Division Series, League Championship Series, and World Series.
Yeah, you mentioned 9 appearances, didn't give up a run, and had 4 saves.
Cardinals made him a starter, and he's turned into a good one. Check swing, and he went around. We saw a similar pitch and a similar swing last night.
The Marlins have been pretty good. That's close. He probably went. Pretty good at keeping the strikeouts down for a guy who's 10th in the National League in strikeouts, Adam Wainwright.
Cantu.
There were some interesting names. You mentioned when Wainwright, after being a first-round draft pick of the Braves, was acquired by the Cardinals. He was acquired with Ray King and Jason Marquis. You mentioned J.D. Drew. For J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero. Some pretty good big league names there.
Wainwright, a couple breaking balls to Cantu, and he's fallen behind 2-0. What is that, a cut fastball?
That's a cutter. He has one. It's not as refined as Chris Carpenter's. A little movement. Not a slider. A little harder than a slider. But a good 2-0 pitch. That was probably his changeup.
2-2. And Wainwright against the Marlins has been nasty, coming in 1-0 with a 1.59 ERA, 4 appearances. Started and beat him last year in 8 innings. One thing about a guy like Wainwright, high strikeout total that leads the Cardinals, high walk total that leads the Cardinals. So if you can get his pitch count up, you can get out of him or get him out of there in the 6th or so inning. That one's going to dive into right field for a base hit. Bonifacio is going to score. Cantu drives home the run.
Rally continues to get those big 2-out base hits, and Jorge Cantu just cuts the lead now. It's 4-2 St. Louis. That's all you have to keep doing. Just keep pecking away. A good at bat. Two-seamer kind of ran in on him, and he stayed back and sliced it into right field.
Here now is Hermida. Jeremy lined out in the first. That's pulled in the hole and into right field. So back-to-back base hits will give Ugla an at-bat.
They got that hole open. Jeremy Hermida rolled over on that, took advantage of it, almost got picked by the second baseman, Skip Schumacher, but that ball had a little top spin and got by him.
This has not been a comfortable matchup for Ugla. 1 for 9 with 4 strikeouts against Wainwright. He's behind in the count 0-1. Mets and Phillies are back at it tonight in New York. 1-1 game. Chase Utley's 14th.
Pretty good matchup. Hamels and Pelfrey. Chase Utley hit one last night against Santana.
Pittsburgh has scored first in Atlanta, 2-0 in the 4th.
How about our guy Kung Fu Panda? Had a big night last night. Pablo Sandoval. Giants beat Arizona 9-4. He was 4 for 5 with a home run.
Oh, he hit a ball in orbit. 1-2.
Yeah, I was looking ahead because you know we're going to see those Toronto Blue Jays over the weekend, but Adam Lind, Aaron Hill, these guys are having good years for Cito Gaston. Scott Rowland.
Anonymously. Ugla pulls into the hole at short. Ryan off to Schumacher in time. Inning over. Marlins get a run. Still down by 2. Twins, Marlins, and the Duck. Even the Duck likes a supermodel. Which city has played host to the most All-Star games? Well, it's got to be a two-league city, right?
Well, yeah, you'd have a pretty good chance if you guessed Chicago or New York or Los Angeles. So I would think it would be one of those.
Tyler Green, the Cardinals are hosting the All-Star game this year.
And Charlie Manuel has invited Tony La Russa and Joe Torre to be a part of that All-Star coaching staff.
Some heavy hitters there. It will be the 5th All-Star game that St. Louis has hosted. They used to play 2 All-Star games.
Yeah, back in the early 60s.
Bonifacio trying to pick that one, and it gets by him. Gliding into second is Green. Well, it's a do-or-die play, but it's also a play that if you don't get a piece of the ball, it's a double.
Yeah, you're right. It's do or die, but you have to try to get a piece. And that ball came up, a tricky hop. I think it'll be a double for Tyler Green because it skipped over the glove. He never even got leather on it.
You got to get a piece of that ball. You can't just let it go by you nonchalant like that.
If it gets by, you know it's 2 bases. So if you're going to do or die, at least go half the way and knock it down so he only gets the single.
That puts Volstad in a hole with Wainwright up. He'll square to bunt. Drops it down. Polino fires to first. Cardinals move the runner up and don't grow too comfortable quite yet because you've got Ryan coming up and the chance for a squeeze.
Number 13, Ryan.
Freddie knows that, so you have to think accordingly. Good ingredients La Russa has for that squeeze.
Brendan Ryan, his shortstop.
Yeah, it's an interesting play, the squeeze, to defend. Because you can't throw all 4 pitches out of the strike zone. And so if La Russa guesses correctly, and he has his hitter up there who's a pretty good bunter, and the runner at third doesn't give it away, then it's a squeeze bunt. If he drops down a bunt, they get a run. So it's really hard to defend and prevent.
Runner bluffs, and Ryan fouls it at the plate. Even tougher to defend at times with the right-handed bat up. It screens the catcher.
Jose Oquendo, the third base coach for the Cardinals.
One and one. Smacked into center field. No need for the squeeze. Brendan Ryan, his 3 hits in this series. Well, some careless defense by the Marlins, and the Cardinals, not only with this run, but the run back in the second, the 2-out stolen base by Ryan. They do a lot of little things right, and that's always been a trademark of that man.
Yeah, it has. They're playing solid, fundamental baseball, little things. That's the kind of baseball Tony La Russa likes. And they have the scouting reports. They know that Chris Volstad is slow to the plate.
When the Cardinals won the World Series in 2006, they did not have the best of records. In fact, they finished 83 and 78. Runner goes. This time Paulino's throw is waiting. And Ryan's out.
Hey, Ronnie Paulino's come up and fired quickly. That time he had a little bit of a chance because it wasn't the best of jumps by Ryan. Another perfect throw, Handley with the tag. Nicely done. Well, you mentioned 83 wins. The Marlins had 84 wins last year.
Yeah. Yeah, 83 and 78.
And I think every step of the postseason, everybody kept saying, well, they're not the best team. And they'd win that series. You get to the next championship series. Well, they're not the best team in that series. And they'd win that one.
Beat the Tigers in the World Series. Hanley's got it. Flips on to first. But the Cardinals pick up another run. And it's 5-2. Little place, big taste. By Corona, official sponsor of the timeout, and by the collection. Love cars, join the club. Gorgeous night tonight. 5-2 Cardinals on top, bottom 4. Cody Ross, Ronnie Paulino, and then Chris Volstad against Adam Wainwright. Who fires a strike? Cody's double brings his average up to 257. He's been much more consistent since mid-May.
Yeah, you go back to Cody's last 24 games. Hitting right around 330 with his base hit tonight.
Breaking ball, Ross to center. Rasmus kind of misjudged it. And now he has to twist and turn just shy of the track.
Very interesting route that Rasmus took on that one.
Oh, the duck.
Got to be one of those cities that we talked about.
I would say New York. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and St. Louis, 5 each. Paulino a chopper. Deep in the hole is Ryan. And 2 quick outs for Adam Wainwright. So Volstad's steps up. One of the things the Cardinals have done in this ball game that no other team has done against Chris Volstad is score 5 earned runs. Volstad had opened his career with 26 starts and never more than 4 earned runs. Until tonight.
Coming into this game, he'd faced St. Louis just one other time. He beat them, so 1-0 in his career.
Boy, that was quick. Let's go to the 5th.
Florida Marlins Baseball está disponible en español vía SAP y es presentado por KFC.
Ventaja de 3 carreras para los Cardenales de
Cookie
San
and
Luis.
Raul. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Rich, Tommy, how you doing?
I got that from Raul, the Cardenales.
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 Sounds nice, huh?
Hey, in Spanish, how do you say supermodel?
Supermodelo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We had one of those on the show.
Yes, we noticed. I was telling Cookie I'd like to switch jobs with Craig tonight.
The longest interview Craig's ever had.
That's true.
For sure.
Electrico. I
Can't
would
blame him.
Bring that word back, too.
Not him, her.
Fastball.
Electrica.
Swing and a miss.
Not as good a location, Cookie, for Chris Volstad tonight.
No, he's been up in the zone, and he's been hit pretty hard. Got to keep that ball down, no question about it.
Duncan, Pujols, and Rasmus. Cookie, is Albert Pujols the best player in the game?
He's got to be right now. He does it all and does it very well. And the consistency that he has done throughout the years, you got to get him as one of the best in the game right now.
One of the amazing things is what he's doing without any protection in the lineup.
Yeah, we were talking about that, how he's the best player in the game, and he's the hardest working player on the Cardinals, and he really tilts the field in his direction. I mean, Ryan Ludwig is not playing right now because he's struggling, and yet the Cardinals are 3 over the 500 mark.
The type of player that he is, and you know, the way how strong he is, the way he moves at first base, the way he steals a base if you give it to him. I mean, he's a complete player, no question about it. One of the best.
That's the Sporting News top 5. We talked with Tony Perez yesterday. All right, guys. Have a good show. If we have any more supermodels, we'll let you know.
For sure. All right, guys.
5-2 game. Pujols is up.
And, Rich, you know the other thing about Albert Pujols? As far as we know, he has done it the right way, too. He hasn't tainted any of his numbers, as some of those on that list have.
But, you know, it's the hard thing now in this sport. And Raul Ibanez of the Phillies had to deal with that in the last couple of days. A baseball blogger intimating, or I guess suggesting, that Ibanez, his numbers this year and his increase in production was due to chemical enhancement.
Well, first of all, the blogger doesn't know that he's hitting around Rollins, Utley, Howard, and the likes, and that he's playing half his games at Citizens Bank Park, not at Safeco.
And the problem is for guys like Ibanez or Pujols or a Carlos Delgado, guys that for all we know are clean, so to speak, there's always that cloud hanging over. Cantu is there, and he makes the catch.
You know, it's such a crazy game that there are players that will have a poor year and have huge numbers. I had an interview today, and the guy being interviewed was Rico Petrocelli. The year before he hit 40 home runs, he had 12. Roger Maris, the year before he hit 61 and broke Babe Ruth's record, I believe he had 39. That's a pretty good spike. So it just happens occasionally.
Rasmus up. 3-run homer and a ground out. High pop up. Paulino makes that catch. And it's a 1-2-3 fifth for Volstad. 5-2, Cardinals up. Your world delivers. 5-2 ball game. Marlins trail the Cardinals. Chris Coughlin takes outside, and once again we join Craig Minervini. Craig.
Thank you very much, Rich. Joanna Krupa earlier, and now Larry Beinfest, the president of baseball operation. I know you missed our interview tonight.
I didn't miss it.
Oh,
I didn't miss it. No, I stayed in the clubhouse to watch that interview.
Forget that draft stuff.
What a good one, Craig. Way to go.
Thank you. And likewise with your draft. You finished up today, 23 college players of the 27 remaining. Day 2, how'd it go?
I think it went well. You know, Jim Fleming and Stan Meek and our guys do a great job. And no stone goes unturned. And, you know, we're taking guys all over the country, and they'll be future Marlins. So a good mix today. A little bit more experience. We went young yesterday with the high school talent. Good, high, top-end high school talent. And today we're filling in, and we'll get some of these kids going here in the next week or so.
Chad James, the left-handed pitcher out of Oklahoma. You went with a high school product. How much conversation when you get down to him? He was the 18th pick. Were you a bunch of guys in there, or was he a clear-cut pick for you?
It was a pretty clear-cut pick. I mean, I started talking to Jim and Stan about a week ago, and they were locked in on this guy. And I was kidding with Josh Johnson before the game, another Oklahoma. You know, we have to deal with another Okie, but we'll deal with it. He's a good-looking kid, and I saw him on video. And 6'4" lefties. That fits us.
Just looked at the first 7 picks. We saw the second pick, Brian Berglund, at a Royal High School. Here's a case where your LA scout, Tim McDonald, was very high on him despite the numbers in high school that weren't very good in his senior year.
Well, we actually trumped our scout. We went with my nieces who attend Royal High School. My sister's daughters go to that school, and they know Brian. So, but no, our Tim McDonald does a great job. Stanton and Dominguez were both scouted by him, and I think we went a little bit heavy in California. And there's always good ball players out there, but we'll take them wherever.
Is there too?
Yeah, wherever they come from, we'll take them. Even from Royal High School in Simi Valley. But we're excited. We take the pitching, Craig. It's no mystery. We love pitching, and to take 2 high school, high top end guys right up front just made a lot of sense to us.
What's the feeling like as we looked at the draft room? We have some exclusive video we ran on our pregame. Is it intense? There's so many names in baseball. It's not like a lot of the other drafts. You go 30 rounds. There's players that only maybe a few of your scouting department really knows that much about.
It's only intense when lunch and dinner is served. The guys get a little worked up. They don't want to get left out or miss the pick. They have to go get their food. But we have a veteran scouting staff. This team is kind of known for upheaval. We've done a lot of stuff with our rosters and different things. But what people don't see is our development in scouting is really solid. And a lot of these guys have been together. So, yes, there are some professional debates. At the end of the day, Stan Meek and Jim Fleming will break those ties, and they make real good decisions.
Are you happy to see the Major League Draft get a little more status, prime time on MLB Network now? It's becoming a bigger deal than it was even in the early part of your career.
Well, I was so excited when Jack McKeon went to the mic in the second round on the MLB.com and he didn't mess up the name. He got him right.
Bob Bergie.
We were prepared, but he got it right. But no, it's great. We watched it on TV. We had this game on. We were all in the room last night. It was a good atmosphere. Obviously, a great game here last night, and it was fun. You get to see a lot of people that are prominent with other organizations, and brings a little bit of glitz to the event. It was fun to watch.
All right, thanks, Larry. My second favorite interview tonight. The president.
Can I do the next one? Are we going back down
if we go back down, we'll send Larry down for the it's been a long week.
All right.
Larry Feinfest, guys, back to you.
All right, nicely done.
Yeah, good stuff.
Probably not a lot of sleep with Larry and Michael Hill and the rest of the staff, all the way down from Dan Jennings, Jim Fleming, Stan Meek, and all the scouts.
I like the comment that Larry made that there's some arguing back and forth, but ultimately it's a decision. Stan Meek and Jim Fleming break the tie.
Hanley takes up. And Wainwright, after walking Bonifacio, has gone 2-0 on Ramirez. RBI single in the first for Hanley. He struck out in the third. Cardinals jumped the Marlins early, 3 runs in the first. Coming on the 3-run homer by Colby Rasmus, the rookie center fielder. Wainwright got the glove up and safe at first.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's almost as if Albert Pujols didn't think there'd be a play at first. He didn't appear to have himself set and ready for the throw. This is a nice pick by Wainwright. He's 6'7", and then a perfect throw, and look at the turn by Schumacher. There's the pick by, he's surprised that he had it.
I think both Hanley and Pujols were surprised there was a throw to first. Cantu.
Well, if Adam Wainwright were an inch or two shorter, he may not have made that play. Remember the base hit that Bonifacio got last night off the glove of Carpenter.
It's a foul ball. Adam Wainwright is 6'7", out of Brunswick, Georgia. He kind of fits that mold that we're listening to Larry Beinfest talk about. 6'4" lefties, big, tall pitchers. That's the blueprint these days. Marlins staff is filled with 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, right now, Ricky Nolasco, the shortest of the Marlins starters.
What's Ricky, 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, Ricky's 6'2", 6'2", 6'3".
That's a very wild pitch.
Not too many wild pitches find the seats.
But a significant one because it gives Cantu a chance to drive in Hanley.
Yeah, he had a base hit, an RBI single in the third inning, driving in Bonifacio. It's almost like Jorge Cantu's a little different hitter when he's up in this type of situation.
Count's full now, 3-2. Wainwright's pitch count is up at 81. Cantu, ground ball, diving, stopped by Ryan on his feet. It skips away from Pujols. Hanley did not make a turn. He would not have scored anyway. Didn't get far enough away from Pujols. Heck of a play by Brendan Ryan.
Impressive in this series has Brendan Ryan been. Hops up, almost gets Cantu, and that time Pujols came off the bag because he wanted to keep the ball in front of him. Right there. He's just going to block it because he knows Hanley's going from second to third. If the ball gets by him, then Hanley will score.
Now Hermida. Jeremy tonight is 1 for 2.
He's had some good swings. Remember that line drive to left for an out, and then his base hit into right field.
Line drive, base hit, left field again. Hanley scores. Hermida comes through again.
Nice to see Jeremy Hermida get aggressive, drive in some runs, and I really do think the Marlins need him offensively to be a run producer with that left-handed bat. This is a good swing. He's had good swings all night. Tailing fastball, two-seamer. He just stays right there. Beauty.
Ugla is 0 for 2 against Wainwright. Marlins have extended Wainwright here. Two-run game. Ground ball short. Ryan. Schumacher. But the Marlins inch back. They get a run. Trail by 2. the Rogers Center or Skydome. Then it's Fenway Park against those Red Sox. Friday through Sunday in Toronto, Tuesday through Thursday and Boston. We'll be there for all 6 of those games. We'll say hi to Mike Lowell for you and Josh Beckett. Marlins hit the road. 2-run game here. And Volstad misses up with his fastball.
We'll thank Mike Lowell and Josh Beckett for 0-3. The memory's still alive. What a road trip. A couple of nice stops, Toronto and Boston.
Oh, yeah. With a day off in Boston. That ball smacked to center. Ross reaches and couldn't get it. Ankiel streaking around second. On his way to third.
I think Cody Ross, all he was trying to do, because he really couldn't get back there in time, I think he was just trying to flag it down and knock it back in the ballpark, which he did. Not able to really get there because he's still going and can't get that good leap. Maybe just caught a piece of it. And the ball hit right on the top of the yellow line, and racing around with Ankiel. A couple of Cardinal players were telling me yesterday was the best that they had seen Ankiel swing the bat. And that was a pretty good swing there.
Here's Molina. We're so used to seeing Ross make diving catch, running catch, that when he doesn't bring one in, you're surprised.
I guess the best description of the struggles that Chris Volstad has had tonight, hittable pitches. A lot of pitches have been very hittable for the Cardinals, and they've had good swings.
Oh, 2 quickly.
And of course the infield's in. Try to keep the Cardinals from scoring again. You try to stop any more runs and keep it a 2-run game.
It's a pretty efficient ball club, though. I mean, when they get a runner at second, they move them over. When they get a runner at third, they score. Infield's creeping in.
That stayed outside. There's Brian Sanchez getting loose.
Emergency swing.
Went right back out there again, and Yadier Molina said, I better try to get a piece of this.
Remember, as we've told you, the Molinas are a lot that don't strike out much and don't walk much.
Only 15 times he struck out all year. And closing in on 200 at-bats. It was a good try, because remember, the last 2 fastballs have been away. So that time Chris tried to bust him inside.
Molina steps out. Cardinals got to Volstad early. The 3-run homer by Rasmus. RBI double by Schumacher in the 2nd. Brendan Ryan drove home a run in the 4th. And he tied Molina up on that one. It's 2-2.
Kind of been interesting, because coming into the game, left-handers were hitting just .225 against Chris. And you mentioned Duncan with the double, Rasmus the home run, Ankiel a triple, all left-handed hitters. So the left-handers have taken advantage of the mistakes. He got a pitch he could hit, and he hit it off the wall.
Molina will get just a single. But that's a classic Molina at bat. You get to 2 strikes, anything that's close, you fight off, and he got one to hit.
He had that emergency swing when he threw his bat, fouled that ball off. He fouled off a pitch that was inside. Finally got the mistake and crushed it. He thought he may have had a home run. Taking a peek, he doesn't run well anyway, but as soon as that ball hit the American League scoreboard, played well by Coughlin.
He runs better than that.
He runs a little better than that, yeah.
He should have been running harder. Tyler Green fouls it back. As we told you last night, Tyler Green out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School, Georgia Tech.
The most hits and the most runs that Chris has allowed in a game this year.
You know, the Cardinals' payroll is $88 million, but a pretty sizable chunk of it is not on the field for Tony La Russa. $12.5 million for Troy Gloss, he's injured. Almost $7 million for Khalil Green, he's on the disabled list with an anxiety disorder. And then Adam Kennedy, a guy they released and are still paying $4 million for. So that's, what was that, $22 million?
So playing with about $60 million.
Yeah. And one of their big guns from last year has been ineffective this year, Ryan Ludwig, who has not been in the lineup in the first 2 games of this series. Ludwig drove in 113 runs last year.
And did a good job protecting Albert Pujols last year.
High pop-up. It's Cody Ross. So Green is out. He's 1 for 3. Fish Friday on the 19th. Marlins will take on the Yankees. 7:10. A CBS 4 for 54 pack can be yours. Play Billy Bingo for a chance to win a Chris Bolstead autographed baseball. Don't miss the Marlins and the Yankees. 1-877 Marlins. Wainwright. Out to right. Rita makes the catch. There's 2 outs.
All right, I have I always tap into you for my Central to Northern California information. And I've been looking at Brendan Ryan, who's had a nice series, been impressive. Brendan Ryan out of
Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, but went to Lewis and Clark State College.
That's up in Lewiston, Idaho. It's close to Pullman, Washington.
Okay. Because I see one of the Marlins draft picks, 23rd round, a Thomas Peel out of Lewis and Clark State College also.
That's a NAIA baseball powerhouse. They've had about 5 or 6 guys that have played the big leagues.
I think that's where Brad Mills, who is Terry Francona's bench coach, I think his son Bo, who's a top prospect in the Indians organization. I think he started out at Fresno State, wasn't the best of students, and transferred to Lewis and Clark.
I think that's also situated on the Lewis and Clark Trail.
We'll confirm that with Brad Mills in Boston and get more information.
It's right around the Columbia Gorge area. I don't know if you've ever been there. The Columbia River. 1-2. One-two pitch. Into right field. Tell you what, Brendan Ryan can play. 3 hits tonight. And here comes Freddie.
Yeah, he was hoping just to try to get Chris through this 6th inning. Not going to happen. And he's going to make that change.
First start in his big league career, more than 4 earned runs. Here's Armaruti, called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van.
Live from Amway Arena, Sun Sports bringing you post-game coverage of Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Join the team that's been with the Magic all season long. David Steele, Matt Gukas, and Paul Kennedy will give you live player interviews, post-game press conferences, and all of that. The Showdown presented by StopRepairBills.com, Thursday on Sun Sports. And it's immediately following Game 4.
Quietly, Brian Sanchez continues to put up good numbers. 9th appearance. You saw the ERA, and I think extremely important here to shut things down. Because you watch this game, and clearly the Marlins have been outplayed to this point by St. Louis. They've been out-hit 10-7. Yet it's only a 3-run deficit, a 3-run homer.
Skip Schumacher. Just so we're all up to speed, some Lewis and Clark State Warriors that have played in the big leagues: Steve Reed, Marvin Bernard, Keith Folk, Jason Ellison, Bucky Jacobson, Steve Decker, and of course Brendan Ryan, among others.
Here's the situation, Rich, by the way, and to take nothing away from Brian Sanchez. But if Freddie had another left-hander in the bullpen, he'd probably have brought him in here. But you don't want to bring Dan Meyer in this early. Save him a little later for matchups if needed. But with all the left-handers, Schumacher, you got Duncan, Rasmus after Pujols, you'd probably see one in this situation. But Rainiel Pinto's still on the disabled list. He would have given Freddie that option.
It was a pretty good pitch that just missed. And it's 2-1. Molina and Ryan.
Now you mentioned a name that has a connection to Marlins history. Marvin Bernard. He's the guy that everybody thought stuck his leg in the way and really was on top of the plate. That Kevin Brown hit in his no-hitter in San Francisco, it would have been a perfect game. But Bernard reached first base.
We try to connect our stories as much as possible. We don't always get there. And some of the things we say, actually many of the things we say don't always make sense, but that's a nice way to tie up that whole Lewis and Clark State thing.
Yeah.
Ground ball to second. Uggla's got it and flip on over to first in time. The Cardinals knock out Volstad, pick up another run, and stretch their lead in the process. 6-3. Freeze it. Look at his eyes. Out of the corner of his eyes, he saw it coming. That was the Prosper Coors Light freeze game.
I think it's amazing that he told Sean Cunningham he wanted to stay in the game.
No, they couldn't stop the bleeding. They had to take 6 stitches. Where's Ferdy Pacheco when you need him?
Where's my cut man? Cut me, Mick.
Cody Ross, 1 for 2. Doubled, flied out. Paulino is next. Busy night for Brendan Ryan, both at the plate and out at shortstop. $250,000 Mustang Money tickets are on sale. If you don't win, you can register your ticket through June 11th for a second chance to win great prizes that include a 2010 Ford Mustang V6 convertible, an ultimate Florida baseball weekend getaway, or $100 gas cards. Visit FLAlottery.com. Here's Ronnie into left field. Alejandro Diaz is going to come up.
And Diaz a pinch hitting for Brian Sanchez.
Marlins trying to climb back in this one. Bottom 6. Last night's game was a crisp 2 hours and 21 minutes.
This one not quite as crisp.
Soggy. Lifeless.
Not soggy. We've had soggy. We've had enough sogginess during this homestand.
Big breaker for a strike from Wainwright. Marlins have his pitch count up in the 90s. With De Aza hitting for the pitcher, you got to have somebody come in and pitch the 7th. So Christian Martinez and Dan Meyer are up. 0-2. I think he went. Yes, he did. And he is out. So De Aza goes down. Marlins finishing their draft today. High school arms.
Saw some of the other names. We were looking down a little further at some of the Marlins picks. A lot of collegiate guys. How about Sequoia Stonecipher? You always see some great names. Grossmont College. It's always fun to see local youngsters getting drafted. Youngster out of Martin County High School, Nick Zaharian, drafted in the 29th round by Kansas City. So a big couple of days for young baseball kids.
Coghlan takes inside.
Chris Coghlan, ever since he has settled into that #1 spot, this is his 9th game hitting in the leadoff spot. Hitting around 280, 7 walks.
Up the middle, Coghlan lines it into center field.
That average is going to go up a little bit more. So he's starting to look comfortable. And I don't know if it's just because he's hitting in the #1 spot, because Jim Presley told him, you know, after you hit first in the first inning, forget about it. Just to have your regular approach. We've seen him have a good approach, take a lot of balls up the middle like that, and he's had some good swings tonight.
All right, here's Bonifacio with 2 outs. Marlins would love to get Hanley to the plate in this inning. Bonifacio has walked and is 0 for 2. Turns on that one into right. It's going to fall for a base hit. Ankiel has it. There's a mismatch there with Paulino's speed and Ankiel's arm. And so the bags are loaded, and Hanley does come up.
That's what you wanted. You wanted a nice smile from Bonifacio, too. He didn't hit that very hard. Got it on the hands, but you know what? If he had hit it hard, it might have carried Ankiel. So Paulina's not going to score. We know that.
You know, he's running pretty well.
Well, what it does, it gets Hanley to the plate. With the bases loaded, Hanley represents the go-ahead run.
Been a lot of big hits on this homestand. The Marlins have won 6 of 9. Hanley had the RBI single in the first. Dave Duncan, Tony La Russa.
Yet again, Rich, this is a situation. I say he represents the go-ahead run. Yes, if he were to hit a grand slam, which he did earlier this year, his first ever. But he has to have the approach. A line drive base hit in the gap. If it scores 2, okay, it's a 1-run game. That's what he has to be thinking.
Duncan's on his way out.
They just started getting somebody warming up in the bullpen, and it's a left-hander. So it's not anyone that's going to be pitching to Hanley. Trevor Miller.
Wainwright, Duncan, 6-3 Cardinals.
I think it's interesting. Jorge Cantu is not on deck. Ross Gloat is on deck.
That would explain the lefty in the bullpen.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, the Marlins have gotten timely hitting tonight. 6 of their 10 hits have come with 2 outs. and they're 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They need another one here. I'm getting greedy now.
Wainwright misses outside. Paulino, Coughlin, and the backhand lots of speed. Coughlin is second, and especially Bonifacio at first. So a ball in the gap could tie the game with Bonifacio's speed. No swing.
It's a little easier to hold back and take that pitch. See that with 2 strikes, he's called out on that. But it's a little easier to do before you get to 2 strikes. But he actually committed as much as he did in the 3rd inning when he was called out. Not what he was looking for. That's okay. Certainly not looking for that 2-0 curveball.
Not with the bases loaded.
Not with the bases loaded. That's a great pitch by Wainwright. Because now it really gets you thinking as a hitter. Hard cutter, slider.
2-2.
Well, now after going 2-0, he's made 2 perfect pitches. That hard cutter, about 88 miles an hour.
1 career grand slam. Molina has a lengthy sequence of signs. Two. Oh, fastball right down the middle.
You can't take that pitch with the bases loaded. Wow.
Behind him, Bonds, Williams, and Josh Gibson. Our question this week: baseball record hardest to break. Cy Young's win total, Pete Rose hit total, Cal Ripken game total, Ted Williams 400 season at 406, the 55 game hit streak. I got to go with Cy Young.
Yeah, and nobody's going to win 511 games. Somebody may do any of those others. But you saw Randy Johnson at 45 years old just getting to 300. And even he jokingly at a press conference said, hey, only 211 more and I'll reach Cy Young. We'll have to get a report, but we saw Ross Gload on deck. Now he's at first base.
Find out if something's up with Cantu.
Because Jorge Cantu, with a couple of base hits tonight, 2 for 3.
And because Hanley made the last out, Gload would come in and lead off in the 7th.
You know, the only thing I'm thinking, the last base hit for Jorge was an infield single in the 5th inning. Perhaps trying to leg it out. We'll have to wait and see.
Chris Duncan. Christian Martinez misses inside. Martinez has had his moments this year. Ugla dives on his knees. Yes.
Ah, nicely done. For all those Cardinal people who think Dan Ugla's not a good second baseman. I've done a couple of Cardinal radio shows in St. Louis the last few days. They always bring up the World Series. They always talk about your below average defender. And all of a sudden Dan Ugla comes up with a beauty. The All-Star game was one that Dan would like to forget, but it's one that everybody around baseball always remembers.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that the national stage, Ugla had the defensive meltdown. You compare his numbers this year defensively, and they compare with all the second basemen in the National League. Certainly, he's not a Gold Glove second baseman,
right?
So, did you snap at the guy when that came up?
I was close. He pushed my buttons on one of the local stations in St. Louis, and they bring that up. Actually, the point that I made, I said, do you realize if Dan Ugla played in St. Louis in front of 40,000 people, a baseball mecca, a place where they love their baseball, they would love the way he plays the game.
Oh,
absolutely love it.
Pujols is out. And there's 2 outs.
But you know me, I was congenial because I was an out-of-town guest, so to speak.
Did they offer you any compensation, like a dinner when you're in St. Louis? Or?
No, but we always get that offer from Mike Shannon, who's the voice of the Cardinals and has Shannon's restaurant right next to the stadium.
Name me an ex-Cardinal that doesn't have a restaurant in St. Louis.
Yeah, if you don't go to Shannon's, you can go to Al Hrabowski's.
Or the Jack Buck's restaurant.
Dan Deerdorf used to have a place there.
Yeah, he does. I think he still does.
By the way, one of the things that has been impressive since day one for Christian Martinez is the way he's come in and thrown strikes.
Ground ball, Gload is there. And he steps on the bag. You're right. Christian Martinez throws strikes in the 7th.
Summary. See that pitch? Middle of the plate, and Colby Rasmus, a 3-run homer for the Cardinals in the first inning. Marlins trying to come back. Hanley Ramirez stung one into right field, but Schumacher answered that with an RBI base hit. Defense for the Cardinals. Double play, 6-4-3, nicely turned. And a ball that Bonifacio did not get, gets down the line, and a base hit, Brendan Ryan up the middle. Hey, the Marlins keep fighting back. Jeremy Hermida answered. They had a big opportunity, bases loaded, and for some reason, Hanley was looking for something other than a fastball, and you just can't do that with 2 strikes and the bases loaded.
Ross glowed. Adam Wainwright still in there. He bends a breaking ball in. Now this is in Cantu's spot, and we're still trying to find out if Cantu left because of some sort of injury. Hermida and Ugla will follow.
Because we even saw Glowed on deck last inning.
Holds, bad hop, but Pujols reacts to it. And so Wainwright, who has shut down the Marlins before, is doing it again. When there's one out, here comes Hermida. Jeremy's 2 for 3. Jorge Cantu left the ball game with dizziness. So Cantu out. Cardinals have Brian Barden at third base.
And a couple of changes for Tony La Russa here in this inning.
New left fielder as well. Actually, the new left fielder is the old second baseman.
And the old third baseman is the new second baseman. So Schumacher goes to left and Tyler Green goes to second.
He's had a good night. His second single drove in a run in this series. 4 hits, 7 trips. 12 o'clock start tomorrow. Hope you'll be with us for breakfast with Craig. And then Andrew Miller. Is it Frank tomorrow? Well, you could probably still have breakfast with Craig and then brunch with Frank. Todd Wellemeyer and Andrew Miller will be pitching.
Where is it they have is it the French Open? Breakfast?
Wimbledon.
That's how much I know about tennis.
Wimbledon is strawberries and cream.
With a little champagne.
Just make sure you're wearing white.
Possibly a mimosa.
A mini one. Here's the 3-2. Hermida drives that to right, hits it well, hits it out, way out. Jeremy Hermida's bat has really come to life.
Well, that's why you go back to that Hanley Ramirez at bat, and even just a run there. It's a lot closer, but he gets a fastball tailed over the middle of the plate. And when you're hot the way he is, the way he hit that slider last night, fastball here, number 7 on the year for Jeremy Hermida.
So it's a 2-run game.
Every at bat tonight, Hermida's had a nice swing, and he's 3 for 4.
Ryan Pujols digs it out. All-Star voting, you can do it online. Just log on to Marlins.com. Or at any home game. That would be tomorrow. It'll be your last chance to do it at home. So hop on the internet, kiddies. And vote now. Vote often. Hanley second among National League shortstops, behind Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins and the Phillies trailing the Mets 4-3 in the 7th inning. At Citi Field, where the ball was kind of flying out last night.
.117 pitches for Wainwright. Ross fouls it off his foot. Chris Perez in the pen. Perez, the former Hurricane closer. .6'4". Cody was already not trotting to first. He was going to remove that shin guard.
Oh, it's kind of a late call. So understand a little bit.
Brendan Ryan has been getting a steady diet of ground balls tonight. Jeremy Hermida, big fly, second in 2 nights. Hair color, where we shed light on some of the anonymous names in Cardinal history, all-time hold leaders. Who can forget Steve Klein?
Oh, yeah.
Or Ken Daly.
A couple of lefties.
Randy Flores. Here's Ankiel. He takes a letter-high strike from Christian Martinez, Ankiel, Molina, and Tyler Green. Wow, look out. Hook that one into the seats. Didn't miss by much. 1-2.
Well, the Cardinals trying to snap their 5-game losing streak.
Fly ball left field, hit well. Coughlin back, looks up, and it's off the base of the wall. Ross will toss it in. There's a case where if you're Chris Coughlin, you know, he hasn't played a whole lot of left field. Going to his left, not real sure as the wall and the ball approaches. Probably would like to have that one to do over again.
Yeah, and you have to make that quick determination. Can I catch it, or is it over my head? And it really hit midway up, only about 6-8 feet on the wall. But he may have thought, okay, I can't get there in time, so I better peel off and play the carom as opposed to getting caught too close to the wall.
And I think Coughlin, the more he'll, if he were to see that ball again, he would realize that Cody Ross has his back.
So if he does get a little too close to the wall, Cody can play the carom.
So Ankiel has a triple and a double. Up and in with that fastball. Molina shortening to bunt. Christian Martinez into his second inning of relief. That's up. The Rule 5 minor league draft is how the Marlins found him. There's the major league version that brought Dan Uggla, and the minor league version, which brought Christian Martinez from the Tigers organization in 06. Molina walks. We check in with Craig.
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. I'm with Cody's crew here. They're debuting the shirts tonight. Having a good time. In fact, did you say you got a ball? Somebody got a ball from Cody?
Yeah, Cody threw me the ball between innings. We were just yelling for him about Cody's crew.
Not bad. Now, Veronica, how did you find out about Cody's crew?
I found out online.
And you're a big Cody Ross fan, is that right?
Yes, I am his #1 fan.
So tell us what happened. You looked online, and what did it say?
I looked online, and it's Wednesday home games, and you get a free shirt when you sign up.
The shirt. Now, stand up there. So the shirts are a little long. I don't know if you can point that way. You can see they're a little long for some of them, but very comfortable. Has Cody's name on the back. It is Wednesday. I'm going to tell you about it. Each and every Wednesday home game. You can go online, www.marlins.com. The one thing is you have to make your plans in advance, right?
In advance.
Buy the tickets ahead of time, and when you come out here, they'll give you a voucher. Or you can go online. It says promo code CODY at www.marlins.com or 305-626-SAVE. Get your ticket in advance, and when you come here, what happens? How do you get the shirt?
You go to gate 149.
There you go.
And they have a little stand there, and you get your shirt.
Pretty good stuff. Cody's crew, guys. They're enjoying the ball game, and the little guys here are enjoying it too. Maybe they'll join the crew next time. Back to you.
And no one has shaved their head yet, but maybe that's the next step.
Hey, wait, one thing. This guy, they say, looks like a Marlin. This guy here. Can you see him? Now, which Marlin do you think he looks like? Starter.
Uggla.
Yes, they got it.
Yeah.
And what do we have? Rich, we've got a Cody's crew shirt for you for getting the answer right.
He needs to get one of the Uggla banks.
Maybe that's
the little bank.
Little eye black would do him good.
Yeah, little eye black.
Good bunt. Martinez better hurry. And the throw is up the runner. Ankiel scores. And the Marlins kick that one. Tyler Green really got down the line quickly. And Martinez, I don't know that even a good throw gets him.
Well, again, the Cardinals with those little things, and also the Cardinals, every time the Marlins have scored, they've answered back. and the throwing error allowed Ankiel to come in and score. It's going to be a single, and then the error charged to Martinez, allowing Ankiel to come in and score, and Molina going over to third base.
Got to show a little more urgency than that.
He took his time and then tried to hurry the throw.
So for the second night in a row, we see Ryan Ludwig as a pinch hitter. He swings and misses. Ludwig with a hamstring injury and has struggled to get his season going. 9 homers, 28 RBIs. He fouls that one back. Molina. Tyler Green.
I have to wonder if we'll see the veteran Jason LaRue tomorrow afternoon to break the string of Molinas.
Bonifacio makes a nice play. Is it in time for the out? Yes. Molina scores. It's a fielder's choice. That was a close play at second. Ugla and Tyler Green getting tangled up.
Yeah, this ball really comes up as Bonifacio is diving, and the quick, he just kind of uprighted himself. Wasn't able to get up all the way from his knees. And a strong throw, and Dan Ugla got out of the way.
Brendan Ryan. Nine spot, which is a special spot in the Cardinal order. It really helps this strategy when you've got a guy like Ryan who's hitting close to 300 in the 9 spot. You know, he's not a power hitter, doesn't have a homer, but he's got 3 hits. He's hitting .315.
Seven hits in his last 13 at bats.
How about another hit?
How about 8 for his last 14?
That's going to send Ludwig all the way to third.
Number 55.
Top of the order now, Skip Schumacher.
Well, the bottom part of the order for the Cardinals has done a lot of damage tonight.
Martinez needs a ground ball now. Schumacher RBI double in the second. Outside corner. 8-4 now. The National League Central is thick. Thick with good teams. Brewers. Marlins saw them at the start of this homestand. Andrew Miller, who gets the call tomorrow. Sporting some new specs. Cubs, Reds, Cardinals, all 2.5 games behind the Brewers when things started tonight. Paulino. 1-2.
Good game going on in Houston. The Cubs with a 1-0 lead in the 7th inning. I believe Carlos Zambrano pitching for Chicago tonight.
There are your standings. Pittsburgh's played better of late. Yeah, Houston has just 2 hits. 1-0 in the 7th. Mets and Phillies 4-4 in the 7th. Ugla looks at second, goes to first. And that's going to drive in another run. So Schumacher gets the RBI. Lead is now 9-4. And our Geico quote arrives from Matt Lindstrom, the beneficiary of the walk-off shot. I think the win belongs to JJ. I wish I could take it off my record and give it to him.
Number 23, third baseman,
But once again, JJ was at his best, especially after the first 3 innings. He made some mistakes, gave up the 3 runs. The last 4 innings he pitched, gave up just a double and an intentional walk, the only 2 base runners.
JJ's next start will be Sunday in Toronto. Shallow right, it falls. Another run scores. Brian Barden with a base hit. Three runs here in the 8th. As the Cards try to put this one away. Barden.
Yeah, he came in when La Russa made a couple of defensive changes. Put Schumacher in left, put Green over at second. Barton came in to play third.
Barton was a member of the Olympic team. One of the better players on that Olympic team. 2008. Two-0.
And if this lead holds up for the Cardinals, the Marlins are going to have to try to do something tomorrow that they haven't done since 2002 against St. Louis. And that is have a home winning series.
Pujols bounces into a fielder's choice. 3 runs for the Redbirds. Toyota, where you'll feel like you bought from the factory, conveniently located off the Palmetto and 57th Avenue. And by Prestige Audi, just 2 minutes south of Aventura Mall. Call 1-866-7-MY-AUDI today. A familiar face. Chris Perez into the ball game. And his fastball misses down low. Perez a 3.66 ERA. Part-time closer last year. Ryan Franklin has kind of nailed down that job.
Yeah, they had a little bit of competition in spring training as to who would win that closer role. And eventually, Franklin has won that job and has done a nice job.
Paulino. Looks like a Brett Carroll at bat coming up. And then Chris Coghlan.
A lot of fastballs and sliders from Chris Perez. And the hopper gets loose.
'96. Perez with some good heat.
Yeah, in the mix in the spring for that closer role. Perez was injured a little bit. Jason Mott. And of course Ryan Franklin.
Here's Brett Carroll. Freddie Gonzalez telling reporters that against lefties, Brett Carroll's going to get in the lineup. Unfortunately for Carroll, the Marlins don't see a lefty until Sunday in Toronto. Brian Talent. Boy, stay hot, Ricky Nolasco. Friday night, remember Nolasco, his first start since coming back from the minor leagues, he started against Tim Lincecum. So Friday he faces Roy Halladay up in Toronto.
And you mentioned the lefty on Sunday, Brian Talent. He beat the Rangers last night, went 7 innings and gave up 2 hits and no runs for the Blue Jays.
So you've already digested much of your Blue Jay homework, it sounds like.
Been listening to many interviews over and over from Cito Gaston.
Checking in on Jerry Howarth.
Checking with the radio voice Jerry Howarth up there. Emailing, texting.
BC hits that one up in the seats, but foul. Yeah, they're, you know, the Blue Jays are a lot like the Marlins in that they play in a division with big names and they get overlooked. Cito Gaston's team, you were just reeling off some of the names of guys that have had great years.
Aaron Hill, Adam Lind. We will see a familiar Scott Rowland. And even now, the Blue Jays coming into play tonight, game and a half behind the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Put in a division that has the Red Sox and the Yankees, and of course the darlings of last year, the Rays. Blue Jays kind of get overlooked.
Right now, the Red Sox have a 6-5 lead over the Yankees. The Red Sox are trying to go 7-0 against the Yankees this year.
Toronto is in Texas, and that game is delayed by rain. Here it's 10-4 Cards. Perez, former Hurricane, misses up. Good at bat by Brett Carroll. Fell behind 0-2 and he ends up walking. Here comes Chris Coghlan, our Toyota trend tonight, has hits in 11 of his last 15 games.
2 for 3 tonight. Has hit in 5 straight.
So then it's 12 of 16 games, right? Coghlan 2 of 3, the 2 singles, the first and the 6th inning.
By the way, with the at bat you mentioned, and it was a good one, Brett Carroll early on, when he maybe wasn't getting the playing time that he is, he may have chased a few pitches and not had that patient at bat and drawn the walk. But because he's a little more comfortable, seen a few more pitches, had a good at bat.
Coughlin swings through that fastball.
You never know what the Cardinals are going to go on to do. They scored their 4 runs in the top of the 8th. But the turning point in this game was the strikeout of Hanley Ramirez with the bases loaded.
In that at bat, Adam Wainwright had fallen behind 2-0. He threw a breaking ball to get a strike and make it 2-1. Hanley went after another breaking ball and then took a pitch. And the 3-2 pitch was right down the middle. Fastball.
And at the time, a 6-3 ball game.
Marlins have not helped themselves defensively. The throwing error by Martinez. Bonifacio coming up empty on that chopper that was actually a double. Perez just throwing the ball by people. Couple strikeouts. Here comes Bonifacio.
He has that little way of taking the ball out of the glove a little bit, a little separation as he gets ready to deliver it to the plate.
Josh Johnson does that, but not as pronounced.
Yeah. There are a few pitchers that do that.
Count 1-0. Mike Lowe, Kevin Youkilis, Jorge Posado, Johnny Damon, and Mark Teixeira have all homered in that game. 6-5 Boston over the Yankees in the 7th. Of course, the Marlins in Toronto and then Boston, and then the Yankees are here along with the Orioles. Then the Marlins have to go to St. Pete for 3 with the Rays.
Pretty good stretch of baseball.
Bonifacio having some problems catching up to this fastball. One and two. If the Marlins can get through the month of June and be close to 500, they have to feel pretty good about themselves because of this stretch. And then into July, the Marlins see a lot of the National League West. Games under right now, 29-31.
And that West right now, a little bit of a Dodger runaway. Dodgers the first team in the major leagues to 40 wins.
Perez dusts off Bonifacio. To the ninth, it's 10-4. Goes during the telecast. Come by and see how we do the game. And for $50, you get a ticket to the auction, a goodie bag, an official auction T-shirt, and an all-you-can-eat buffet. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call, or marlins.com for tickets to the Fox Sports Florida Fantasy Auction. That will be on the 23rd against the Orioles. It's a pretty good deal, just $50. It's an all-you-can-eat spread. And you'll be there live as you watch Craig Minervini conduct the auction during the telecast. Hopper's in.
Yeah, it's an all-you-can-eat spread, but you have to get to it before me and Rich.
Colby Rasmus takes outside. Once again this year we'll have the big items with a cruise, a carnival cruise, a 7-day carnival cruise. We'll have a watch party, which includes a very nice watch and a ride in the blimp, Goodyear blimp with some Goodyear tires, golf with Tommy at the Parkland Golf Club. Those are the big items.
You might have some other things thrown into some of those.
On the little items, the little board includes swim with the dolphins with Craig and the mermaids. That's the little board.
Good try by Ronnie Paulino to try to position himself in fair territory when that ball came down. He couldn't quite get the call. It was foul, but a good attempt. Swim with the dolphins with Craig.
Oh, the mermaids.
And the mermaids.
Maybe we should reword that. Swim with the dolphins with the mermaids and Craig.
And Craig, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might get more money.
Well, thanks for telling me. I didn't know I was swimming with the dolphins.
Well, if you don't want to, I'm sure that Frank would love to swim with the mermaids and the dolphins.
I guess I didn't hear the dolphin part.
Yeah, into center field. And a base hit.
Yeah, as long as it's not the manatees.
Yeah, if you're trying to cut back and you're watching your budget, you might want to swim with the manatees.
And you definitely want to get to that buffet before they do.
Rick Ankiel has 2 hits. And he takes down low. Badenhop has been a savior at times for the Fish, coming out of the bullpen in short starts. Boy, Ankiel drills that one deep right field and gone. Rick Ankiel is a single shy of the cycle. Triple, double, homer.
He is just what the Cardinals need right now to supply some of that extra power with Ludwig struggling. He's got a lot of friends here, got some family here, and he absolutely launches this ball down the line. It was fair. And you know what I hate to see? I hate to see Badenhop get beat up in a game like this because he's been so good in close games when the Marlins have needed him to come in and bail them out.
Yeah, because these are the appearances that will inflate your earned run average.
Got a great name. The Cardinals keep hitting. Ankiel may get up again. The last Cardinal to hit for the cycle. You'll like this one.
All right, it's not Ray Lankford.
No, it wasn't that long ago. April 27, 2005.
2005. Bo Hart.
No, I'll give you another hint. Everybody was, Cardinal fans were upset when they didn't bring this guy back to play second base.
All right, next time was
hard-nosed player.
Short.
Hard-nosed player. Long name.
Long name.
Mark Grudzielanek.
Ah.
Not Super Joe McEwen.
One ball, one strike.
Grudzy had a solid major league career. Very good career.
Mark Loretta-like.
Had some big years with the Expos. Cardinals, Kansas City.
Smacked into right field. Tyler Green with a base hit. So the Cardinals unleashing some pent-up frustrations tonight.
Boy, Tyler Green with 3 hits. The number 9 hitter, Brendan Ryan, has 4. And Keel with 3.
Here next to Brady's pinch hitting, pitcher Chris Perez,
Stavanoa is going to come up as a pinch hitter. Nick Stavanoa. As the Cardinals lead this one 12-4.
Well, right now, Rich, the Cardinals with 18 base hits. Their season high 19. They had 19 hits earlier this year against Houston.
You know, the long name thing threw me off because I was going to go Ronnie Belliard on you. Didn't he finish? I think he was in 2006, the World Series year. I think he came in and played second base and played pretty well in 06.
First career 3-hit game for Tyler Green. Talked about the local product. He's having a good night tonight.
A resident of Plantation. Stavanoa chops one behind the bag. Ugla throws it. Hanley can't catch it. Badenhop backing up, picks it up. And the Marlins' sloppy play tonight continues. We'll see who they give the error to.
They could give it to Dan Ugla. Throw didn't look that bad, though.
That's a tough catch.
I mean, Hanley's expecting it chest high, and it's belt high.
And it's Ugla's error. So Badenhop is sitting here with a bases loaded, nobody out situation, and nobody up in the bullpen, which is a lonely feeling in a runaway game like this. Brendan Ryan, all he's done is go 4 for 4.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Hopper, he came into this game, he lowered his ERA after his last few outings. He was at 386.
Up the middle, Hanley has it, flip, Ugla bare hands, fires across in time to get the double play. 1 run scores.
Nicely turned. A good turn by Dan Ugla with the bare hand.
So it's 13-4. Foul back to the screen. Skip Schumacher.
Most runs the Marlins have given up this year was that 15-2 loss to Tampa Bay.
Hanley dashes across and makes a nice pick and throw. But the Cardinals add on. It's 13-4. % on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO by Tobacco Free Florida for more information. Visit us on the web at tobaccofreeflorida.com and by Largo Honda. Still no sharks. It's 13-4. Not quite a 10-run game. Bottom of the ninth. And the Cardinals go to their bullpen. Dennis Reyes. This is just a taste of if it was 10 runs. I made the promise about 3 weeks ago that from that point forward, anytime there was a 10-run game, we would pull out all the stupid, silly, wacky video that we have. So, I mean, and it stands. Apparently, the 10-run reel is just about finished. So, if there's a 10-run game the rest of the season, one way or the other, Marlins up, Marlins down, out comes everything. Like that Exmo squirrel.
Which is from Denver.
Yes.
Right?
Who has the Exmo.
I mean, some cities have the Exmo.
Some do. We don't. We get to play with the Exmo when we go to Denver.
What do you need to do to get the Exmo?
You need to know the squirrel. What? Exmo? See, it isn't 10 runs, and we're just giving you a taste. Hanley's up. Glode's next.
Dennis Reyes is on the mound.
Thank you for that. See, stuff like this that we have.
That was in Chicago.
Archived, yes. Look at the nice thing, the nice touch with that guy. He's got some nice Italian loafers on, I think. There's a catch. Can we see him again?
You can't be a hot dog with Gucci loafers.
Oh, look at this guy. Up comes Glode. Look at his shoes.
Well, I don't know if they're nice Italian loafers. But
well, they're certainly not shoes you would expect a hot dog to wear.
No.
Glode's 0 for 1. Reyes misses outside. And it's 1-0. I think the Ameziga play will be on that reel. Many outtakes from our shows.
I'm a little worried about some of those. Sometimes I do forget tape is rolling. Is there sound too? Is there just
no
visual?
That would be even more compromising than the video will show. Out to left, Schumacher is there, and he makes the catch.
Well, you have games like this, and the key is for the Marlins to bounce back tomorrow, finish the homestand with a good game tomorrow. And it'll be up to Andrew Miller to try to do that against Todd Wellemeyer.
Our Prestige Audi moment is brought to you by Prestige Audi. Who else? Just 2 minutes south of Aventura Mall. 1-866-7-MY-AUDI today. And it was Jeremy Hermida, who's had quite a night, 3 for 4. Even his out was a loud out. RBI single, solo homer. And you're right, if Andrew Miller pitches the way he's pitched his last 3 starts, the Marlins will have actually his last 4 starts. He's given up 2 earned runs or less in all 4 of those starts.
Well, a loss here tonight will make it a 6-4 homestand. So 7-4 homestand is a whole lot better than 6-5, and that's what Freddie has to get his club ready to do tomorrow.
Here's the 1-2. In the air, left field. Schumacher there, and he makes the catch, and the Cardinals have evened this series at a game apiece. In a runaway, the Cardinals beat the Fish. 13-4 is the final. Adam Wainwright